Okay, good morning. Let's start and carry on as we were left off last week. One of the things we want to create from what Ron's feedback is obviously something just like you're passing on, you're going towards the light, as we said, something subtle. The original image was, let me just share my screen.
Oh, isn't it? Once turning round a little bit, just a bit.
Just share my screen. There you go. Should be able to see it now. Okay, remember that was the image that was sort of we were trying to recreate a dog on a path. There's the sunset, and off it goes down the path. That would have been a lovely image to use, but unfortunately we couldn't get it. I did search on the internet for it. I couldn't see anything like it. So Ron also then provided this image. In fact, if I use it in Lightroom, we had this one. The only difference being, whoops, I better bring Lightroom back in. The only difference being is that it's obviously nice and green. So we want to turn this into something which gives us a similar sort of context to the other image. That is the path going around the corner, light at the end, some nice sun rays coming in, make it just feel quite warm and just a little bit more emotional in there. So I think what we ought to do is to look at where we got with Brian. So Brian, if you want to share your screen. I'm going to move all these out of the way. There we go. And we'll get control with you, Brian. Okay, I don't know where you kept your image, Brian, from last week. I think you put it in, I said Ron's, oh, there it is. I can see it. Yeah, I can see it now. I think this is where we got to here, did we not? Is that the position we got to?
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's where we were. We're looking at the dog.
Harry, you went ahead just to show us what we were going to do. We hadn't actually taken it into Photoshop.
That's okay, but that's where we got to. Okay, then. So I'm suggesting that we go into Photoshop now. I'm going to go into with Brian's photo, editing Photoshop, and it'll ask me hopefully to edit the original. And then Brian's computer will open up Photoshop and continue.
Gary, do we want to take two pictures in?
No, just leave one at the moment. I was just showing you what with Brian's where we got to on here.
You just want the forest one?
Yeah, let's just go for the forest one now. Let's pick up where we left off. Let's everybody get to that point, so we're all at this sort of situation just here. So if you all continue, open up Lightroom, then open your image up and edit as an original, so that you can continue where you left off in Photoshop.
You're not doing it as a smart object?
No, because you've already opened it as a smart object. When you went in, let me just go back to Brian's. If you remember in Brian's computer, we were in Lightroom.
We didn't go into Photoshop. You did. You showed us what we were going to do.
I just told him now.
Did we not get to this point here and go back to Lightroom?
No, I hadn't gone in Photoshop at all.
Okay, but we're still here at this point here, yes?
Yes.
That's okay then. So we're all at this point, and I went on showing you what we could do next week, adding the dog. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's okay then. That's fine then. That's fine then. So we're here at the moment. Okay.
Do we want to go in as a smart object?
Wait a minute. Let's just come down. I'm in front of myself, aren't I? So let's carry on where we left off just here. We managed to change the colours, and we looked at selecting it certain areas. We improved the path, did we not? We went into the path. So I'm going into Brian's develop module, and I believe that we highlighted the path and made it slightly brighter. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we did a mask, and there's the path. Yeah, there's Brian's path. And I would change that name, Brian, from mask. Just type in their path for me, Brian. Give these masks a name so you can remember what they are. You'll forget otherwise. Okay, so we've got sky, leaves, and path. Lovely. Now I'm going to just look at this image again, because one of the things that we looked at in the other image, and something none of you've touched yet, is this one down here called color grading. We all know how to use a color mixer. We all know how to change colors. So we have a mixer. We got this one here. And if you remember, we used to have individual ones, or you could do global ones, and you could find a color and correct it. But one of the things that we've never touched is something called color grading. Now, there's a difference between color correction and color grading. Color correction is all about getting reality. And when I say reality, trying to get to a situation where the image looks like how you've taken it. So we might have a cast on it. We may have shot it in tungsten. We want it in normal white balance. We may have shot it in 6,500 kelvins, which is slightly above daylight. We might want it warmer. So we can correct, and we can use our white balance tool to help us correct that. In this situation, we're going to be slightly more artistic. So we're going to look at something that none of you have used yet, I believe. Has anybody go with color grading yet?
Yes. Yes.
You've had a go with color grading.
Not really.
I've had a go, but I don't like it, so I don't use them.
Okay.
So color grading is about literally applying a color characteristic to make your image look slightly artistic or cinematic. And if you watch a lot of these films, and I think I mentioned programs such as The Handmaid's Tale and things like that, they use a color grading to give you that sense, so that when you're watching the film, you don't know, but subconsciously the colors are letting you know that something's going to happen. And in the case of Handmaid's Tale, when certain of the women that was when they had the handmaids working for them, it used to be this teal color. And you suddenly see the color change and the tones change. You go, oh, so you knew something was coming subconsciously. But you also use color grading to get cinematic effects. Like you see a lot of these films have a certain color or wash on them to make them look a certain way. Nothing like how you'd see a photograph. However, I've seen people do this on photographs. It looks very good. It tends to give more of a connection to the style or type or age that it's done. A lot of the 60s movies now, you see them recreating them, putting color grading on them to make them look like the 60s and 70s, where Kodak and certain colors at that time and lost certain colors, the magentas sort of go, and you get this strange old-fashioned Kodak color look. And so much so now that you can get filters that are called the Kodak look, you know, so here we go. So let's explain a little bit about it. So since Margaret and Linda's done all about color grading, should we let them run the class for a while, or?
No.
I never said yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's have a look at color grading. Let's have a look at Brian's screen. Yeah, Judy just come back to me. She's still struggling. She's gonna have to give it a miss this week. So, okay, I'll get back in touch with her later on. So then, on color grade, if you all open up your image or Ron's image, and we're going to look at this color grading screen. I've got it on Brian's screen at the moment. And you may say, oh, I've seen this before. Well, we've had it before, but they've now split this color grading and other things up a little bit more. So we now have this color grading, which is a little stronger. It was improved in about 2 versions back in Lightroom. And it's just been strengthened further in the last update in line with the Adobe Camera Raw. So what is the midtones? What is it all about? Are you all ready to go and continue all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have across the top a word that says adjust, and then there are circles. Can you all see the circles?
Yeah.
And you can switch between different ones. Now, the main one when you open up is the 3 white circles on the left, near to the word adjust. Then you have 3 circles, which is the black, the gray, and the white. And they stand for shadows, midtones, and highlights. And the last one is called global. I've just highlighted it on Brian's screen. It's called global. And what it's saying is that you can do certain things with certain colors in certain ranges or you can do it as a global effect. So there are certain images where you might want to just warm up the shadows. You might want to cool down the highlights. And you can do this using this method. There is a couple of shortcut keys that you might want to use. I'm going to show them on Brian's computer. So if I go now to, I'm going to leave it in global here just for a second. And if you notice on global, you've just got one circle. And the circle represents the color wheel. So you've got the color wheel around the outside. And if you on the outside of Brian's, there's a little dot. If you watch what I'm doing, I'm moving around the dot. I'm moving the color wheel around the 360 degrees. Okay, so it's taking you all the way around. That is the hue. Now the hue means the color. So think of hue as a color. The actual strength of the color is when you go inside here. And you see when you go inside. So if I hold down the shift key now, you'll see that when I hold the shift key, it lets me do things in a straight line. So let me go now to, let's say, the 3 adjustments. I want to work on just the shadows. If I grab this slide and go around, that's fine. But if I hold down the shift key, you'll see now, as I move it, it's just going to rotate that. If I don't, and I move this, I can move inside and I can change the color. You see I'm changing the color, and it gets a little bit excitable, and you try to, oh, I'm trying to put some orange in the shadow. Oh goodness, and now I've gone inside. By holding the shift key in, you can operate on one individual at a time. So at the moment I'm working on the saturation. The saturation goes from the outside of the wheel to the center. So the further you go out, the more saturated it is. The further you come in, the less saturated it is. If I hold down the command key, I'm going to work purely on the hue. And if I hold down the shift key, I'm going to work on the saturation. And the brightness or luminosity range is this slider here. You see? So what we can do now, we can be very selective in where we're going to affect our colors. And we might want to set a mood. We might say, well, actually, we want to make the shadows slightly more orange and darken them up. Whoops, gone a bit too much. So this is where the command key comes in and the control key. If I hold the command key in, I can rotate it around. So I'm going to find the correct color. And then we can turn that down and say, I want the colors to be slightly darker. But if I wanted the highlights to go up, I could turn the highlights up. But as you see, I'm changing them, but there's not a lot happening because I'm saying I'm working in white. So if I suddenly say, well, I want the highlights to be more blue, and I can turn up there, and you can see here, there's the blue. And then the midtones, I could say, well, I want them a little bit more green. So you're putting this strange color, this color gradient in there. Now, one of the things is when you come to do this, you've got to look at the histogram at the top and think about splitting that into 3. Shadows or your bottom end, your midtones, which is the central part, and right is the highlights. Now, when you operate these, it stops at a point. So I'm going to just get my annotation screen just to show you. 1 second, I've just got to get annotate up. Come on, annotate. Because I'm on Brian's screen, will it let me get onto it? I'm just going to have to come out your screen, Brian, because it won't. Oh, it will. It'll let me do it on it. I've got it. Annotate. I'm going to have to use a color that you can see. So I'll go for purple. So this area here is your shadows. This area here is your midtones. And this area is your highlights. Now, if I change anything in the shadows here, it goes into this zone from here to here. Okay? I'm just going to get my pen. It's easy to draw. And if I go for the midtones here, it goes from here to here, etc. So it stops at these boundaries. And the blending here affects how much this moves up and down into other areas. So if I was to grab the blending now, whoops, sorry, I'm going to just grab my mouse, go back. If I use blending now, I can actually move that and blend all the 3 together. so that you get a more muted or a nice blend or soft amalgamation of the three zones. And the balance here is like the strength. So you can literally turn this up and give it more or less and more strength. So you can change, look at the histogram changing. And you can get some incredible effects. So blending tends to bring them all together. And the balance is literally, a better word, is the strength. And you can create some very, very effective pictures. I've seen one done recently. Somebody applied one in the BIPP photographic competition of an old American car. And the American car, they treated it as if it was in the 60s. And they gave that Kodak sort of color wash look. And it looked incredible. And I thought to myself, well, yeah, it looks very good, very cinematic, very nice. But actually, the car was nice on its own before changing it. So it's down to your choice on this. I don't do an awful lot of color grading. I like to see the colors as they are because I like to look at it as a photograph. If I was looking at it more illustrative way and more creative, then yes, color grading is pretty good. In this case, the color grading is quite good because we're trying to create this end of life or end of passing of time of this dog going down his last little journey down this track and off he goes. So this color grade, let me just get rid of some of these drawings, is pretty good. And of course, the Alt key, when you finish working on these, you can reset this by holding down the Alt key and then clicking on the reset button. So remember the Alt key, you can do a reset. So if Brian holds his Alt key down now, Brian, you'll see the word adjust goes to reset, and all the others will say reset midtones, reset shadows. So don't get down to the bottom of the screen and click this big reset button at the bottom because it resets everything. Now, I'm saying to you is that maybe we could add a little bit more warmth into this further. We've gone very autumnal, but it might want a little bit more warmth. Now, we can do this in the shadows, or we can do it in the midtones or the highlights. I think we can go for global. So if Brian clicks on the global button, which is the fourth, 1, 2, 3, it's the fifth button along the top where it said adjust. And we're going to click on global. That's the one. And what we're going to do there, you're more or less in the right place as it is. It's an orangey sort of yellow. So if you move it around a little bit more, Brian, and if you hold down your command key, Brian, it will just rotate around the outside nicely for you. So just grab it, click that button and rotate it. Not too much. You're going to come back a bit more. You're trying to get the oranges, trying to get that warmth in there. There you go, somewhere about there. And you'll see now you've got a luminance slider. You can turn the luminance. Brian, try that up and down. So that cranks up the highlights, and this brings up the shadows. Now, I think we should do the shadows more because we're trying to I want to try and emphasize that little light at the end of the path. And you've all created the path. So let's turn down the luminance. Keep coming down, Brian. To about there. That's about enough. About -35, 30 to 35 is enough. Now then, I'm going to open up this panel here, if it'll let me. Now, when you open up this panel, you've also got control of the saturation as well. You see, I've just opened this up. You've got this button here to the left, so you can actually set custom colors as well, if you wish. And this eyedropper tool, I'm told works in Lightroom, and you can drag it outside, but I've never tried it. I'm not going to do it now. Brian selected the hue is 32. We can turn up the saturation a little bit more here, if we wish. So we can warm it up a bit more. And we said we drop down the luminance a little bit. So this extra panel, this little button here, gives you control over this. So if you don't like moving these sliders in the wheel, so if you don't like moving this bit here, you can open up this panel here and move them manually there. So if you don't like grabbing these wheels, like it was trying to pick them up and move that to there and move it up there, if you don't like doing that, you can actually do it on the sliders using that little disclosure triangle to open up that panel. So if you can't see the panel, click on the triangle, Brian, and open it up. There you go, Brian's found the triangle. And now you can do this. And if you don't like working on the wheel, you can work on sliders. I'm just going to grab this phone 1 second because I've got a delivery. 1 second. Sorry. Hold that space.
Oh, I haven't got the disclosure triangle.
You will. Click on global first.
Oh, on global. Yeah.
Yeah,
There.
that one.
Oh, yeah. It's
I
there.
think it's if you go on the individual ones,
yeah,
it does
yeah.
that.
Sorry about that. I've got a dental appointment and they've just phoned to cancel it. Okay. So we've got our image now, something light warm. So this is color grading. It's not color correction. It's literally applying a filter of some nature on adjustment, and you can work in shadows, you can work in highlights, or you can work in the midtones. So if you don't know how to use it, have a go a couple of images that you've got. It works quite well, actually. Okay, are we all happy? You've all want to have a go at making that change. Make it to where you feel you're happy. So Brian, if you're not happy, you think that's too more colourful, we can bring this further out, more colourful, bring it in, or you can use the sliders. And I think just to warm it up a little bit, that's all we need. And tell them when you're all ready.
Ready?
Ready, ready, ready. Okay, so we've got our image something like, but there are some areas we want to work on here still. One of the things I thought about when we were looking at this, we talked about the focal range. Now, the question is, if you look at the original image here that we had, oops, there we go, new masking, thank you, dismiss. If we look at our original image here, it's very much goes out of focus. It's hard to tell on this, but I think what it does is it goes further into the distance. It goes slightly less focused. So if we look at our image that we've got here, it's quite sharp all the way through. We're trying to create this feeling of a passing, effectively. So why don't we look to see about taking some of the focus out of the full range of the picture? Because what we want to do is emphasize on the dog and its journey on its path down here. So why don't we open up the focal range again, the new one. So let's come out of there, Brian. I'm going to close this off for you. And we're going to come down to lens blur. So if you want to everybody will open up lens blur. Lens blur. Now, Ron, you shot this image at a 20th of a second at f32. Did you put it on a tripod? No. Most of you got camera stabilization on that, but I did notice when I was looking at this image, there's a slight bit of camera shake on it. You don't look at it here, but there is a bit of camera shake. So keep watching out when you're shooting. 20th of a second at f30, at 32mm is just past what is available to without camera shake. Remember, 1/32 would be a 30th of a second minimal. You've got it at 1/20. So let's have a little look. We've got our apply button. We've got Bokeh open. We can close that off, Brian. There's a little triangle on the right-hand side under the number 50 on the right-hand side, which will close off the Bokeh, or Bokeh, whatever you wish to prefer to call it. So in the panel, Brian, look where it says blur amount. At the end, it says 50. Just below there's a little triangle to the right. Oh, keep going up. Keep going up. Keep going up. There it is. Close that off. That's just for the specular highlights. Turn that one off for a second. So that we don't get confused.
If you press apply.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now you want to press on the button apply, yeah? Yeah. And it's going to analyze it. Okay, I'll just close that Bokeh off for a second. And if you look at the blur amount, I'm going to scroll up on Brian's. It's saying at the moment, that is the range. Now, if you want to look at visualize the depth, click on that button again, Brian, where it says visualize depth and hit the check box. There's a little square box to the left of the word visualize depth. You see that?
Want to click that?
Yeah, just click that so you can see. Now you can see it thinks that the far distance is right down the end of the path where we want it. So the question is, do we want to make that such that that's slightly blurry? I think we should. Let's have a little look. Let's turn off visualize depth. And at the moment, you'll see that the focus is in the distance. So Brian, if you grab that box and move it to the left. So on your focal range, it's in purple at the moment, which is on the far distance. So bring that right back. So no, grab inside the box, anywhere inside it, that's it, and drag it to the left. Yeah, all the way to the left so you can see what is happening, just so you understand what's happening.
Mhm.
And then let go. There you go. So now what we're saying is the area of focus is on the foreground. And we can now say to ourselves, well, how much of a fall off do we want? So in that box that Brian's just moved, there's a little tab on the right-hand side. When you move over the box, Brian, there's a little tab appear. That's it. There you go. Look, so you can drag that right-hand tab over a little bit more to stretch the focal range. So let's go halfway up. Keep going about there. Let it analyze again. There you go. And we can do a little bit more, Brian. Just give it a little bit further on. Keep going a bit. Yeah, about there is probably okay. And now we can back off the blur amount at the top. So it's a little bit too blurry. The fall off's quite strong. So let's go to where the blur amount is and just back that off a little bit. Let's go down to about 25. See what that one looks like. And then let it recalibrate. There you go. I think that looks a little bit softer. That looks nicer. What do you think, Ron?
75 already.
Yeah, so it's going to a soft image of the foreigner because it's all about the dog. So I think about 25, and I think that's a nice fall off, isn't it? Okay, because we want to emphasize the dog with these little light spots at the front. Now I do want to create this tunnel effect. However, we have got an image where we have quite a strong highlight to the left, which we worked on in our masks before. So we've got this light coming from the top left, but I do want to create this tunnel effect going through. But before I do it, I just want to go back up into the basics. So in the general panel, Brian, at the very top, and underneath where it says original photograph, you've got the 3 sliders. That's it, basic. You've got it. Open up that. And I want to just put a little bit of texture on the leaf. So pull the texture up a little bit. It'll come down a bit further under presence. Yeah, turn the texture up to about +25. Just add a little bit of detail on the leaf. So where we aren't blurred, I want it to see the texture. There you go. And I'm just going to try one thing, Brian. I'm just going to take over. I just want to just yank this dehaze over a bit. See, I don't want it to be too strong. I want it to be quite soft. And I think somewhere about there is quite soft.
What number, Gary, on the dehaze?
I've come down to I'm about -15. I just don't want it to be too harsh. And I'm going to turn the texture up a little bit more. Yeah, about 30, +30 on the texture. And about -15 on days, just to give it some sort of Christmas where we need it. But I don't want the image to look too overpowering because I want it to look nice and soft and muted. And one thing you can look at doing when we're into Photoshop is that we could put an overlay of a texture on here as well to give it that nice age feeling as well. Okay, so we've got that and we've got our dog, haven't we? Now, before we introduce the dog any further and do any work with the dog, we've got to think about the process of what we're going to do to this image, because when we go into Photoshop, I'm thinking we ought to add some sun rays coming through. So you'll see on the floor and the path, there's some dots of light. Can you see it coming through the canopy? And I think I'd like to see some of that near the dog. So I want as if the sun's shining on the dog and the dog's going to disappear into the distance. So I've got to think about how we're going to do this. I've got to be careful that I don't do too much and then add the dog on and then I can't match the colors. So I think we should next put the dog on. So what we need to do is to take the 2 images into Photoshop. Now I was going to do them as layered images, but I think at this stage, I want to bring them in and do the cutout and then add the dog to it. If I take them both in as smart objects, there's a chance that you all might get confused on what we're doing with the animal and what we're going to do with the image. So I'm a little bit conscious that I don't want to lose anybody in this process. But technically, I would have brought the dog in, cut it out, put it on, and then worked on it. So let's take the dog in and let's just cut it out. So we're going to click on the dog. We did some changes to the dog, got it all ready. And the only thing that we are noticing is when we look at our image of the lane, the path goes round to the right-hand side. And I'm thinking, Ron, you might tell me different, Ron, where would you like to put the dog, Ron? Where do you think we ought to put it? We can put it here so that we're going down the path, or we can put it here so we're going that way. And at the moment, the dog is looking that direction. So by rights, the dog would sit nice to the right-hand side here. So you've got to decide where the placement of the dog's going to go. Because if we put him on the left, we're going to have to flip him over. If we keep him on the right, he's more or less in the right position.
Keep him on the right.
Well, why don't we take it into Photoshop and then decide where the position would be? Because when I put him on here, I'll just get my image there. Let's open that one up. We put him there as if he's looking around the corner.
Slight room adjustments because we did quite
But
a
we
lot.
could actually say, well, let's put him on the opposite side in this bottom right corner and looking up that way. So we can still do that.
Yeah.
So which one would you all like to do? Left or right?
Can we do it on, if he's looking that way, can you do him on the left and then show us how you switch him over?
Yeah. The reason why I like him on the left as well is you'll notice there's some light on his back. So when we look at the original dog image here, the lights tend to be coming from the front, but there's quite a white area on his right-hand side. Can you see that's brighter than the left? And I'm thinking that when we come to do this, the light in this image here is coming from the left. And that's why I thought I'd put him on the left, and also as if he's looking around the corner. So that light area on his back, I'll just get it here, a brush, is down this side here. And this is where the light's coming from, this direction. Would you all agree? So I think the ideal situation would be to put the dog in those little dappled light area, looking around the corner, and this coat with the light on matches where the light's coming from the left. That's why I thought it'd be better. To be honest, it'd be nice on the bottom right, and you're looking into the picture more, because we all like to look into it. We should look into it. And if I move him further this way, he'll be in the bushes, which is not what we really want. So an ideal spot would have been exactly there. But I've got to look at his coat and where the light's on his coat and look at the image and say, you know what, I think that's going to be the best place for him. So I think what we should do now is take the dog and the image both into Photoshop, and I would open them up as separate ones. Normally I would say don't, but I think so we don't get confused, I think we do them as two separate ones, but open them both as smart objects in Photoshop. Now, you can do it in Photoshop Beta, or you can use it in 2024, whichever you want to. So I'll let you choose. Brian's already got his dog in there, but I did that before. So
Harry,
yes.
you said not to do it as smart objects because we're going to get confused.
No, I've decided to two separate images, then you won't. If I did it as a smart objects in layers, I'm just concerned that it'll be too many layers for you all and you might get lost. So let's take them in the smart objects, but as separate images.
Delete it out of Photoshop and start again.
So right click on one of them, open up in Photoshop as a smart image, and open up the dog as a smart image as well. Two separate images. So in Photoshop, you'll have two images and they'll both be there. I'm gonna just close Brian's this one down because, sorry Brian, I'm gonna do it so you can do it. And I think I can use Command Tab, it'll let me on your computer. So you want to open that one up, Brian, in Photoshop. So right click, and then you can do edit in.
So we're doing one at a time, Gary, or
Yeah.
both?
Yeah,
one.
edit in, yeah. Now go down to open a smart object at the bottom, Brian. That's it. Because we can drag him into one image anyway. And then do the same with the dog, yeah. I'm just worried that it might get too complicated when we come to do cutting, and we're going to put some light rays on. And if we do it at a stage at a time, I think it'll work better.
So we haven't got to put the path in yet, just the dog.
No, take them both into Photoshop as smart objects, but separate images.
Well, yeah.
So now click on the dog, Brian. That's it. And then edit in smart object in Photoshop. Yeah. Keep going up. Boom. That's it, to the left and then down to the bottom. That's it. Perfect. And hopefully, by the time I done that, there you go. So you've got two images in. You'll have that one, and we've got that one. Okay. So I think on the dog's back, the light is strongest on its right-hand side. Now, at this stage in the game, we can flip the whole of the image. If it was on in layers, as we said, we'd have to do it in edit, flip as a transition. Okay. But since we have got this in Photoshop as a smart object and it's on its own layer, its own image, we can go up to image at the top of the screen. So go up to image, Brian. That's it. And we're going to do image rotation because it's one whole image, and we're going to flip it horizontally. We're going to flip it over. There you go.
Image rotation.
You got that?
And you go down and it's there. About
Can you
1,
reveal
2,
who's
3,
getting-
4, 5.
I haven't got
You
rotation.
should have
That's
it
bizarre,
there.
Have you got a problem, anybody?
Going round the bend.
Are you all okay? Everybody okay?
What we doing? Flip.
Flip.
Yeah, flip, edit. So you're going to go to image and then flip horizontally.
Go round the bend. God, you couldn't see properly, didn't I?
I had to have a second glance, I must admit.
Tell when you're all ready, class teacher.
Yeah, everybody ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what are we going to do now? We want to get rid of all the areas that we don't know, what we don't want in the image. So what we're going to do next?
Cut him out.
Select,
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to cut him out. How are we going to cut him out?
select subject.
Okay, let's go to the left then. So use your select tool, Brian. It's the fourth one down. Yeah.
There's a
Next
little
one up. Next one up, Brian. That's fifth one down, Brian. No, to the left. Up one more tool.
Just do it there.
There you go. And then you can try select subject at the top of the screen. So when you've opened up that tool, you've got all the options bar. So now you've got select subject to the right hand side. Look, keep going down. No. It's actually the options bar. The options bar. Every time you can I just point this out to you? Every time you open up a tool, regardless which tool it is, you'll get a new options bar, and this is where the option bar always sits, just there. So Brian, if you switch on any other tool, choose the crop tool, say, on the left-hand side, use the crop tool. Just click on it and watch the option bar. Yeah, now look at that change. Click on it. So that options bar's changed. Now choose the third one down, the lasso tool at the moment. So go up to this one, Brian, here, look. Next one up. Next one up, Brian. There you go. You see, every time this options bar here always changes. So you've got different options, hence the options bar. So let's choose the fourth tool down again. And we're going to do select. Now you can do select and mask, or we can cut him out, whichever you wish to do. I suggest we do, oops, hello, Brownie. Dog's just trying to sit on my knee. Yeah, just choose the fourth tool down, Brian. Come down, we'll keep going. One more. There you go. There you go. Now try, you can do select subject or select and mask, whichever you're happy with. Select subject's a good one. Try that one, see if it'll work. Okay, let's see what it's doing. So it's found a good selection. Now we've got a choice at this point. We can actually go select and mask, and then we can tidy up any edges. Looking at it, I think it's done a reasonably good job. But if you open select and mask, what will it do as opposed to what we've done? So at the moment, we've just selected the subject. We could do Command and J at this stage and copy that selection onto a new layer, can't we?
Yeah.
Now, we don't know how good that selection is at this stage, but if we do select and mask, what will it do differently?
I haven't got a clue.
It just
It
has,
goes into another part of Photoshop so you can trim and check the edges. So let's do select and mask. Know where you are, Brian, where you was. Right hand, that's it. Go that one. Click on there. Yep.
well, I've just done Command and J. No, he's changed it.
No, I'm just saying there's two ways you can do this. You can do Command and J and accept the selection it's done straight onto a new layer. Or we can do select and mask, and it will go into a new options area where you can be very selective and tell it where it wants to be trimmed, whether you want to expand or contract, whether you want to soften the edges. So let's do select and mask. There you go. Now, can you see? We've got this new area now. Now we're in there, we can do select subject. So top of the screen again, Brian, select subject, and it should select it. Yep, discard it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now then, what we've got now is we've got a new selection. If you're not sure, if you notice on Brian's screen at the moment, it looks like there's no selection.
Yeah.
And that's because at the top right-hand side, it says properties in view mode, and Brian's used in transparency mode. Now, there is a button below there that says View, and that's it, Brian. There's a little arrow to the right of there, and you can select how you'd like to see the selection. So if you click on there, Brian, you could have a black, you could have a mask arrangement. So click on there. So now you could have marching ants, you could have a rubylith overlay, which is V, or you can have black and white or on layers. So try overlay V, that's not a bad one. You can have a look at it that way. So you can see anything that's red is being discarded, and anything that's transparent, you can see it is what we're going to keep.
Go back into this panel.
So you can choose how you see how good your selection is.
At the top there, bring it, come down. There you go. Press view. Yeah, the little button at the side.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Then press whichever one you want.
Yeah. And there's also one that says show edge. So if you come away from there, Brian, now, and then that will collapse, that selection, that little menu will collapse. So click anywhere, that's it. Now to the right, there's something called show edge.
Yeah.
You see that one? You click on there. And you can see now, if you toggle between the two, if you got a black and white, you'd see it more. You don't see it very much in the rubylith one, so turn that one off. And now you've got this thing called opacity. Can you see the opacity? You can turn that up and down to see, at the moment it's 50%. So crank it to 0 and then crank it under so you can see what it does. So grab that slider, Brian. No, further down, Brian, just below there. To your right, up a bit, that little white triangle. That's it. Grab that and move it to the left. If you go all the way, you can see what it does. Can you see? And then move it all the way to the right, and you end up with a solid red blob around it. Can you see?
Put it then.
Sometimes it helps you see what you're actually selecting. So your choice, how you'd like to see this. I often like to see it as a black mask, like we'd normally see a mask. But it all depends on how you'd like to see yourself. Now, I would suggest at the moment as well is that I can't tell how good that edge is. So we need to zoom in. Now, there's many ways you can zoom in. I use a standard command and space bar and alt space bar to zoom in and out. But on the top of the options bar in this particular menu, there is a plus and a minus key. Can you see it? So you can zoom in some more. There's also this button here, which let me just get rid of this one. Here, you can click on it. I'm just trying to click on it. And you can click it. Oops, Command Z. Sorry, my apologies. I'm trying my hardest here on the internet. So you can zoom in using this little magnification glass. So I'm zooming in to look at the edges. Okay. And you can also click, once you've selected that magnifying glass, you can click on it. And if you scrub your mouse left and right, you can see the edges as well. You can zoom in and out. So you can click your mouse, hold the mouse down and move your mouse left and right, and it will show you, it'll zoom in and out so you can see the edges. And it's not done a bad job, actually.
I can't do it. Won't do it. Let me do it.
Make sure you got your magnifying glass open on the left-hand side.
Yeah. And it's come up with a picture of looks like a cactus.
A cactus? That's because it's a cactus. You're probably zooming in a long way.
Well, whatever you call that green plant.
You still on painkillers, Sally?
Can you see though? It's come up with that.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Okay. Now, the only thing I would suggest, now, you've got to remember that we've got two images that we're going to be using. This image is slightly lower resolution than the other one, and you can see that it's starting to look a bit pixelated where we've zoomed in. We're going to be zooming out from it, obviously. And you can see there are some artifacts from JPEG artifacts in there as well. So one thing we want to consider is, I think the edge detection has done an excellent job. And the reason why is because they are quite big pixels. But I would suggest we apply at least some feather, around about 0.5 of a pixel. So on the right-hand side, there's a panel called Global Refinements. And in there is something that's called feather. You can see that, Brian? And just turn that up a bit, about 0.5 to 1 pixel, just so it softens it off a bit. That's 2.5. Keep coming back, Brian. If you look at your image when you're doing it, look, the edges are going pink. So about 0.5, just so we can just take a little bit of the edge off.
Gary?
Yes, sir.
Right.
I'm sitting next to Tony. He's did a Command and J, but it hasn't put a mask on it, even though it's got rid of the background.
Why did you do Command and J? We said we're not doing that. We're in this other method.
I've already done it when
So
you
would
said
I.
But don't worry, just go back to the bottom image. And then do select and mask. It'll come into the screen. So go back to your layers panel and go back to the original image and then do select and mask.
it's not selecting the subject, it's just making the whole picture white.
All right, let's have a look where you're going then. I'm going to just swap over to Margaret. Margaret, can you share your screen, please?
Hang on, I've got to find you again.
Mm-hmm. Brian's in front of everybody, look. That's because you've got it on onion skin. So go to your view mode. There you go, you're on onion skin. So you can try marching ants, you can try on black, on white, whichever one you, but one of them will be. I would suggest you don't use marching ants because the marching ants, you won't be able to see the edge of the image. So I'd go either on black or on overlay. Yeah. Black and white. Okay, now at the moment, you've not got a selection. So go up to the top of your screen and do select subject. There you go. There it is.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to use onion skin for one reason. I'll tell you why. And it doesn't help on this one because there is a red tinge to it, a bit of a tinge. You can see a good mask there. There's no doubt about it. But I can't see what it's actually masking from. So I tend to use it with a Rubylith, which is overlay V. So go to overlay, that one. Yeah. And I can see. Now, if you go to your, on the left-hand side, there's a magnifying glass. Yeah. Click on your screen and drag to the right and the left. It will zoom in and out. So click and drag it. And you're looking at that edge. Can you see the edge there? Look.
Yeah.
And I would suggest, and I always tell people when you're learning, grab the feather tool, Margaret, on the right-hand side panel under Global Refinements. That's
feather.
it. Yeah, and turn it up a bit. Turn it a long way. You'll see that the rubylith will go into it. Can you see? Now we want to take some of the edge because I don't want it a really strong edge. Otherwise, when we blend it in, it'll look a bit odd. So I said about half a pixel, which is 0.5. So it's just going to take the edge off it. So it's not, because it's a pixelated image, you might see. Yes, sir.
Ron's I think you need control of Ron's.
Okay, then 1 second. Then, so one other thing you can do as well, Margaret, when you turn the feather up a bit, turn it up to 2 pixels, Margaret. Let's say we've got a really bad edge on here. And when we turn that up, obviously, now the rubylith is starting to spread onto the dog. Below there is a slider called Shift Edge. Can you see Shift Edge?
Yeah.
And if you do a Shift Edge in the left direction and the right, you'll see it either takes some off the dog or it takes some off the mask. Can you see?
Yeah.
So I would suggest you do around about -5. That's -94. Just to take the edge off. Because when we blend this together, I don't want to have a little halo around the dog. And that's all I would do at this stage. So you're ready to go. Now, when you come to do this, just scroll down a bit more, Margaret, with your slider on the right-hand side. You want to do output to new layer there, look, with a mask. Now, this is why I said you could do Command Z, or you can do this. Now, if we do it to a new layer, it will only take the dog. If we do it with the layer mask, we can always adjust. But in this case, so we don't get complicated, let's just do it as a selection.
So output to selection.
Yeah. So do it to a selection, yeah. And then say OK. And then I'm going to go and help Ron. So now you can see you've got that marching ants all around. And notice it's slightly inside the dog's fur. Can you see? Because we told it to clip it a bit because there's a bit of a halo because of chromatic aberration. Okay, I'm going to get rid of you and get rid of that one, Margaret. The second layer, get rid of it.
That middle one.
Yeah, get rid of that one. And then I'll go and help Ron. Click on
I've got lost as well.
Okay, then. Whoever wants me to take over next, let me know. Share your screen. Brian's looking smug. Look, Ayla, I'm done, he said. I love it.
How did you find the properties panel, Gary?
1 second, then I'll come to you. Now, I'm just looking how many images that Ron's got open. Let me just request control. Ron?
You did,
And we've got quite a few images open here, and I'm going to find out why. So we've got that one. So we don't want that one.
get rid of all your selections and that.
And then we've got 2
Andy,
images open here.
now go.
So we don't want that one. So we've got 2. Okay, so now we're working on this one. So what we did, Ron, go to your left-hand panel, which is your toolbar on the left-hand side. Just choose the 4th tool down. That's it. And then at the top, look, we're going to choose the tool Select and Mask at the very top of the screen in the options bar.
Right, I had.
That's it. Keep going to the right. Yeah, that's the options bar. That's good. And Select and Mask.
Go back there.
Just switch off hard edge, Ron, for me, because it's a little bit hard, that. Just switch hard edge. It shouldn't, just for future reference, that hard edge, you don't really want it on at this stage. And then choose Select and Mask. Yeah, turn that little checkbox, look, Ron. To the left, that's it. Get rid of it. That's it. Now do Select and Mask.
Right round there.
Now that's called onion skin. So at the top right corner it says view. Let's get rid of that one from view to a rubylith, which is the third one down.
Then we did.
That's
two-
it. Now you need to go to the top of the screen and do select subject, Ron.
Oh, it's still doing it. I don't know.
There you go. There you go.
Gary,
Oh, just 1 second, and then just turn the opacity to 50%, Ron. I'm coming to you 1 second. And then Ron, at the bottom, it says feather 2 pixels. You want 0.5 there. Keep going up, keep going up. There, come down a bit more. Yep, keep coming down a bit more, feather. I should say 0.5. Just take the edge off it. And then shift edge around about 5%, between 4 and 5%.
use me on mine.
Okay, that's it. No other way, Ron. Sorry, minus. You're right. You're in. That's it. No, not too much. You want about -4 or 5. Margaret, 5. And then you're going to do output to selection. And you can click OK. Who else is stuck?
Linda.
Okay, then.
Gary,
Okay.
I've only got one layer and it says use me. I've followed through and it's all come up the same as you.
Yeah.
So, but
Look,
it's,
share your screen then.
and I can find you.
Then we'll have once everybody's caught up to here. What time is it? We'll have a quick cup of tea, won't we? Yeah, because it's 1:15. Okay. So you're okay on there. So you need to be in Photoshop. Are you opened this up in Photoshop?
Yeah, it's there.
Okay, so there you are. So you're working on that image there, which is correct. So you chose what it is. Your box needs to be a bit more. Let me just take over a minute, Linda. You can't quite see. What it is the screen is a little bit too small. 1 second, I'll do it with you. So I'm going to move that up there a bit more. Now you can see it. Select and mask. Look, can you see it?
Yeah.
Click on select and mask.
Didn't they?
Now then, there you go. And then you've got different properties. So you can choose, I would choose the overlay. Now, at the
Yeah.
moment, you've got nothing selected. So now, click on that one.
Not doing anything.
Click out of the box.
There you go. So now then, now I'm intrigued. What a bit. You're in Adobe Photoshop beta version. Okay. I'm okay with that. Let's turn the opacity up and we get control. There it is. It's because you got your capacity. Now you've got to do your selection. There, look. You need select subject. Top of the screen. There you go. And then on the right-hand side, we said, just to help things along, feather wants to be 0.5. That's it. And your shift edge wants to be -4%. Just to make sure. I think there we go. And then you're ready to go. Anybody else still?
Yes.
Has it
Okay,
got-
then let's go to Tony, and then we'll have a break for a quick cup of tea before we do the next bit, then, shall we?
Can you stop sharing?
Just scroll down here. Where's your layers gone?
Don't worry, if you get stuck, we'll have a cup of tea and I'll pick up where you left off. I'm myself, Tony, and then we're all caught up.
Gary, Linda's got no layers now.
1 second, I'll come and have a look. I'll come back to you. So you're there. So Tony, select the 4th tool down on the left-hand side. That's it. Yeah. Click on that. Select and mask on the options bar on the right-hand side. Yeah. And then choose your view mode on the right-hand side. Keep going to the right, Tony.
Might be.
Select rubylith. That's it. Come down a bit more, Tony. That one. Yeah, you've got it.
What?
Click on that. And then overlay.
Is it content?
There you go. And we've found that on there, the feather on the right-hand side further down wants to be 0.5 and shift edge about -4%.
To retain transforms applied in smart objects layer. Yeah, you do, don't you?
Yeah, so feather about 0.5, just to take the edge.
So I've got them, but I've got it as a,
Oh, you'll have to go.
Yeah, I'll do about 0.5. And then your shift edge wants to be about -4.
-4.
Yeah, about -4. And then scroll down,
Yeah, you needs to get on.
scroll down.
That
Because
was
you want to
annoying.
do your output now. Yeah, keep going down, Tony, with your scroller on the right-hand side. No. Yeah, you can close them off. There you go, output to selection, which is okay. Okay. I wouldn't normally do it to the mask, but we're okay. What we're going to do, we're fine. So you're ready to go as well. So you still stuck? Anybody else stuck?
And Linda's got no layers.
Oh, Linda.
Well,
Let's
she
have a
did
look.
exactly what you said. And
Let's
it
have a look then.
transfer it to layers.
Let's have a look.
Right.
oh, hang on, Gary, I've got to get you.
No.
Oh,
Tea time.
Tea time.
Okay.
Put the kettle on for me, please.
it's this one, isn't it?
Oh, click on
Okay.
there. There you go.
You got it now?
So, no, that should.
It's
Hang
this
on.
one up.
Go.
No, look, it's this, isn't it?
You'll only have one layer. It'll be a selection. It'll be a layer with marching ants on. And then we're going to do Command J.
No layers at all there.
Let's have a look then. Let's move this over. Ding. That's because for some reason she's turned them all off.
Oh.
Okay. So what we do, Linda, if you ever get stuck like this, we're going to go to Window.
Yeah.
We're going to go Workspace, and we're going to reset Essentials. Click on that. There's your layers back.
But I've
So
only
it's
got
still
one layer.
one. There's still
Yeah,
just one.
correct. You've still got one layer. 1 minute. I'm going to put that properties panel into there to give you more space. And we'll also have this one in here to give you more space. And we'll have that one in there to give you more space. Now you've got all your layers. Now on there, you should have had, okay, did you click OK to a selection, which should be selection, click OK. Ooh, it's not doing a selection, is it?
I think the selection's there. It's, well, I don't know.
Have a look then. I'll soon tell you. Nope. The wonders of software. I can see why now. Come on, Zed, 1 second. Come on, select subject. There we go. Feather. That'll be on there. You can do it to a selection. For some reason, it's not accepted your selection.
Oh, right.
Okay, no worries. So you're ready to go as well.
Okay, thank you.
It could be Photoshop beta for some reason. Who knows?
I tried to open it in Photoshop, but beta kept coming up. And when I
It
said,
will do.
well,
Yeah, your settings in Lightroom is saying use beta version, so that's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. Okay, go and have yourself a quick cup of tea. We'll give you 5 minutes and we'll start again. So I did this with Brian, and I did select a mask with Brian. We did everything, and we did it as output to selection. Now, by rights, output to selection should go back in there, and you should see marching ants around your selection.
Roger.
So that's what you should have had. If it's got no selection, then it's very similar to what we did before. Select subject, it's doing the same thing, but you could always do output to. I'll do it again. You could always do it output to new layer. There you go. So that's gone to a new layer. Now, It's gone to a new layer in a new document in Brian's,
Oh.
which I don't want.
Oh,
So I'm going to come out of that. I'm going to go back, don't save. For some reason, I've seen this happen once or twice. I don't know whether Brian's using the beta version, but I found in the beta version just some very odd things with selections and layers. So, have you all got a selection coming back from there?
only if I put my cursor over it, you can see all the.
Marching ants.
Well, it's not marching ants. I've got it in like a pink
You want to
outline.
change that then to your selection thing.
So when you come back from your select and mask, you should have back to where you came from, but you should have a marching ants around the dog.
No, the corner thing. That's it. There. Go to quick selection or magic wand or something. Quick selection will do. I'll try it.
Now, the reason why I did this is I want to show you some of the pitfalls that you will get on certain images, because every time you go on these YouTube channels, they show you perfect images that work perfect every time. And when you come to them on yours and they don't, you get despondent. If you notice, and I did this purposely to show you, I'm just going to get my annotation tool back up. Just here on the dog, it's quite bright. So I've lost part of the dog's head. Can you see? So doing the method I did is okay. And so you could choose select subject, which is okay, or we can select a mask. If we select subject, we end up with this. We have no control of it. If we do select a mask, I could actually tell it not to just select subject and bring it back with marching ants, which are these. We can bring it back as a new layer with a mask. And the reason being is then we could paint this back in manually, or whilst we're in select and mask, we could do it manually there also and paint this little bit out that's missing. So Ron's picture is really good because this has helped you understand that select and mask and anything like this, these automated functions are okay, but they have limitations. So you have to take control over them. So how would I get around this problem? Well, we can go back to select and mask. So if you all go back to select and mask with just that one bottom layer, make sure you're on the bottom layer. So me and Brian's going to go back to select and mask. And now you can't really see with the Rubylith mask how well it's doing just up here. It's missed a bit off. And if you was to choose the view mode, and Brian, we chose Rubylith, we choose the black and white, you still can't see it. If we choose onion skin, it's so difficult to see, because if I reduce the onion skin right down, you still struggle to see that end there. So if there's any doubt whatsoever, and you're not sure you're going to get a good mask, when you come back to output selection, do a new layer with layer mask. And that way, when you come into here, back into here, you will see the bit that's missing. And then, whoops, just come out of this, sorry. And then what we can do is we can get our brush tool, and I've just got to close some of these off because I've got so many. We'll get our brush tool, and we know that black conceals and white reveals. Is that correct? So we get a white brush, and I came up onto Brian's mask here. So we've got the mask open over on the right-hand side, and I've got my brush. Anywhere I paint here on this image will allow us to put that back in place. Does that make sense? You all happy with that?
Well, I'm a bit lost, Gary, to be honest, because I've gone on to the bottom layer and I've lost you a bit, sorry.
No problem. So what I'm saying to is, Brian's got his image on here. I'm going to get his brush. And now if I paint on this edge with Brian's brush, I can paint that bit that's missing. back in. And I'd be very much aim for a harder brush as well, because that brush that Brian had got selected there was a little bit hard, a little bit soft. So I would go for a hard brush, and I just paint that back a little bit back in. Now, even that's a big brush. Make it a bit smaller.
There is he on.
Bottom one, so.
You've got 3 layers now.
Oh.
So I've got my selection. I'm going to go back, edit,
It's not,
Well, I've got.
and I'm going to just paint that back in.
it's just painting in black. It's not painting on the
Make
thing,
sure you're on the mask.
the mask.
Yeah, make sure you're on the mask, and I'm just painting that last bit back in there. So all I was showing you is that sometimes select and mask is okay, but you've got to be quite, you've got to watch the edges, especially as light areas. Like you got a white with a white background, it struggles. So you've got to paint this back in.
Not doing anything.
Oh,
So is everybody okay now, or does somebody want a hand?
It's not doing
I'm
anything.
painting.
I'm going to go back so Brian can do this. So Brian, I'm going to go back to your select and mask. So you need to change that now. Output to a new layer with mask, Brian, and I'll go and help somebody else.
If you could help me, I'd be very
I
grateful.
will, yep. I'm just waiting for Brian to choose that output to new layer mask and click OK, and then I can come and join you.
No.
Where it says selection right at the bottom.
So first things first, let's just go to selection, Brian. Select subject. Make sure we're okay. I'm just going to do this for you, okay, so it's ready. I'm going to put it all back to where we were, Brian, so you've got it. Okay, Brian, now you're going to change that output to new layer with mask.
I've got it now.
On the right hand side, look at the bottom, just about that's it. Scroll down.
I still
New
have
layer with layer mask.
my bottom layer is still showing.
No, that's new document, new layer. That's it. No, new layer with layer mask. That one. Yep, you've got it. And then I say OK. And now when it goes back in Photoshop, look, you've got that ready to go.
Right, that's what's not. I'm
We'll
not.
put that out of the way for you. Okay. So you're ready to go, Brian. No, I'm going to help Linda now.
Okay. Oops.
Is everybody else okay?
No.
Okay, I'm going to help Therese in a minute too. Okay, I'm going to, so first thing first, we've got to get rid of that extra layer that you don't want. So I'm going to move that out of the way.
Are you on me, are you now?
Which
Yeah.
layer?
You got use me
Seems
copy.
Yeah, and use me. I don't know how that's coming.
Don't worry. So we're going to have, I don't know why you've got, okay, you've called it use me, that's fine. But the only thing is you didn't bring it in as a smart object, you brought it in as a normal image.
Oh, I thought I bought it in as a smart object.
Well, where's your little triangle, little box in the bottom right corner? Not there. So I tell you what, let's do it correct for you.
Can you convert it?
Into Lightroom.
Couldn't you just convert it, Gary?
Then it will convert it to a smart object within Photoshop, which operates different, remember? You remember? Now, Linda, you can actually flip it over in here if you wished. So you can do photo. Oh, come on. Develop. I'm just going to try and flip it for you so when you get there, you're ready to go. So you can do it in Lightroom as well. And then you're going to do in here, cancel that. You want to do, oops, photo, edit in, open a smart object.
Yeah, I did. I'm sure, positive I did that.
Yeah, I think.
There you go. Now you've got it there. Now we're going to go to the fourth tool down, select and mask, go to here. You're going to select the subject. We're going to feather it about 0.5 of a pixel. We're going to shift the edge about -4. And this time we're going to do new layer with layer mask. Can you do that?
Yeah.
And okay. So you're ready to go. So is anybody else stuck?
Me.
Okay then, let's do it.
I definitely did.
Yeah.
Smart object. You did.
See,
Over to you,
mine,
Tony.
oh, it's the same. You've got a smart object in that one. The one you've just done
It's
isn't
not-
as smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same as mine.
I'm waiting for Tony. Are you stuck still, Therese, as well? Okay, we'll do Tony. I'll come straight to you.
Do Command and Tab, and that'll bring.
Hey, I've got my windows and doors coming in 3 weeks' time. Exciting.
Right. So you'll have double glazing.
Yeah, I've been finished my plastering around the window reveals, ready for the new windows.
Oh, brilliant.
Our plasterboarding and plastering tool, I don't know, last night.
Oh, God.
Mm.
Not easy, is it?
Nope. It's a big room.
For a whippersnapper, let alone an old man like.
Yeah.
I was watching Andrew doing it at my sister's the other week, and it's all that manoeuvring it,
Yeah.
sticking it to the ceiling.
Must
Well,
have.
I've got our ceilings, Teresa. I'm waiting for Tony. Our ceilings, Teresa, are nearly 3 meters tall. So they're quite high ceilings. And to lift those boards, which weigh about 20 kilograms a piece with insulation on, we've got a device that lifts them up for you. It's like a crane. And you winch it up and holds it to the ceiling. Okay, so Tony, I've got Tony now. Okay, Tony. So the only difference, Tony, is you've already got the layer, so you're okay to go. So just so you know, we were on here. Okay, and all we did is we did select and mask. Come on, computer, catch up. Ah, right, you switched the layer off, Tony. That's what it is there, look. Can you see? That layer was switched off. I'm going to delete it. The layer was switched off. The eyeball was off, so it wasn't there. So we do select and mask now. Select the subject. And then we did 0.5 on here, and we did the edge about -4, 3 to 4, you know. And then we did it as, this time, new layer with layer mask. And then it should go, and you're ready to go. Oh, interesting enough, look at that. You've lost your tail on yours.
Oh,
And it's, you know, it's amazing. But now we've got a mask, which is nice. We can back off the opacity of the mouse of the layer. If I back that off a minute, opacity on there. So I can see the layer underneath. You can see it's lost it.
Can you paint it in?
So what
Like you
we'll
did on
do
the
is,
head?
yeah, I'm just going to find the brush tool. There's the brush tool. And then we're on the mask, and I'm going to just paint. Oh, that's a crazy brush, Mr. Tony. We just get a brush, and we'll take the hardness right up. And we're going to paint back on here and paint it back in. There you go. Oh, sorry. I'm not looking what I'm doing. I should be painting with white. And hopefully, if I switch that off now, what we got, oh, flow 12%. No wonder it's going slow, Tony. So I'm going to paint that all back in, because I know roughly it's about here. There you go. And if I turn the opacity back up, hopefully, we should have a full tail again. We have. There we go. Paint its tail back in. So you're ready to go. Is anybody else stuck? Teresa.
I'm not necessarily stuck, Gary, but why is my mask, it shows all the background as well.
I'll have a look with you. Let's look at Teresa. First, either you or Teresa, share screen.
You do get like that, don't you?
If anyone else has got a project like this that Ron has, send me it up and we'll make a class from it. Okay, so what's wrong with that, Teresa? That looks good to me.
Yeah, but when I brush, it doesn't brush.
When you brush, it doesn't brush. Okay. The only thing is yours is a bit soft, your image, but that's okay. Where are you trying to brush?
His head.
His head back in.
Okay, so just up there. So you have to select the mask on the right-hand side. There's your selection. That's what it is. Now, what you've got to do is you've got to clear that selection. So you do Command and D or deselect, okay? There's a word there that says deselect. Now, you've got your mask. You're going to get a brush. We're going to paint with white, so you can swap it. You can use the X key to exchange the black and the white on the left-hand side. So you can either do that or that little arrow on the left-hand side in your bar. If you're not sure where to do it, I'll draw it for you. That's it. So you need to either click on this, you've got to paint with white. So you either click it that way, that's it, and just paint that little bit on his head. That's it. And not too fast, because it's only a little bit. Now what it is, you've got quite a big soft brush. So change that brush to a hard brush. Otherwise the edge is going to be bigger. So just turn the hardness up just here, look.
What's your brush?
Turn that up right to the end, all the way to the end, because it's only a small image. Now you've already painted on there, look. That's it, paint on. Now you see where you've gone over the edge, because you had a big soft floppy brush. If you hold down the Alt key now and paint on the white bit on the outside of the dog. Oh, let me just tell you. Oh, wait a minute, because you've got to go. I'm just getting rid of my control keys. So just hold down the X key, just tap the X key, it'll swap it to a black brush, and just paint. Whoops, I've lost my drawing pen, sorry. Just paint this bit here with black to get rid of it. That's it. That's it. Now you got the edge back. You got it.
I'm going to do that.
So you're all ready to go. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now you have got on your mask, if you look on your mask, Teresa, I'll just get my annotation tool again. If you look on your mask, you've got a little white spot there. Can you see? So somewhere down here, you've got an error. So scroll down. There it is. So don't forget, black conceals, white reveals. That's it. Paint it out of the way. Excellent. Well done. So am I stuck? Is it Tony? Not Tony. Roger, you want me to? Yeah, I've got a question.
Yeah, my mask is still showing the background, but I think Ron is the same.
Let's have a look. Then show me, and then I can help you.
We're all the same, Roger.
I haven't got no that one.
No, yours is.
I'll have a look, and I'll just answer your question. Everybody else will say yes, that's what I've got, or no, whatever. So at the moment, so the reason being is, if you look on your layers panel on the right-hand side, you're showing both layers active. So it's punching a hole through and then showing the bottom image. So if you switch the bottom layer off, eyeball it. Ta-da, there you go. Okay.
And the same as what Teresa did as well.
Yeah. So if you've got the bottom layer back on, then it's going to show exactly the same again, because white reveals and black conceals, yeah? And then sure enough, it conceals off that top layer, then shows the bottom layer underneath as well. There you go. Anybody else stuck?
Ron, are you Yeah, Ron's stuck.
Okay, Ron, show me a screen and then we'll do the next bit. Yeah, if anyone else has got a project like this or a picture you want to work on, just say, because it's very helpful, because you can see how to use the tools on your own images. Right, Ron, you've not got a layer. You've got a layer, but no layer mask. So what we're going to do is switch that eyeball off. I'm going to come and join you. That's it, switch that one off. In fact, we'll get rid of that layer completely. So switch the bottom layer, eyeball on. There you go, we're on. Switch that layer, and we're going to delete this layer. Beep, beep, beep. You have to let me do it over the internet for you. No, okay, I'll drag it to the bin then. So what you're going to do now, you're going to go back to where we were. Now you've not got all your, oh yeah, I've got it. I thought you'd not got a full complement of tools, but you have. So what we're going to do is go to here, do an overlay, select the subject at the top of the screen. Yeah, throw that selection away at the moment. We're going to put the feather on. That is okay. New layer with the layer mask. You're okay. That should come in. Now you've got it. Now you've lost a tail as well. Can you see? So what we're going to do is we'll get a brush, which is this one on the, so this one here. Internet's good. And we want to reveal. So we're going to switch that over. If you want to swap black to white, hit the X key, or you can use that little arrow symbol. Can you see on the left-hand side? If you do X, X means exchange. So if you hit the X key now, Ron, the brush will become white. There you go. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to paint his tail back in. There we go. Painted in. So you're ready to go. Okay. Is anybody else stuck?
I think we're all right now.
Good. Let's go to Brian then. Brian, let's share your screen. Let's do the next stage then. Okay.
Wait 20 minutes, Gary.
Lovely. We're doing okay. So now then, we've got our dog. We're going to drag the dog onto the image. Okay, and we can switch layers on and off as we need to. So we're going to get your move tool, which you've got, V for move tool, or you can use the top left-hand cross on the top left-hand side of your layers panel. And what you're going to do, Brian, you're going to click on this picture, Brian, and you can drag it onto the tab bar where it says image 3223. And you'll see the picture will change and drag it back and let go of it. So drag up, that's it, drag it up. To keep going to the left now, to the left, Brian, to that, keep going to the left, keep going to the left, to that tab, that's it, and you'll see it'll change picture in a minute. Keep going left and up a bit.
Oh,
You've let go of it, Brian. Okay, you've let go of it, don't worry. I'm going to drag it with you, Brian. Look, watch. I'm going to click it, drag it, till I get to that tab. Once I'm on that tab, it should change.
You're not select.
Which layer do you want to be
Oh,
on,
wait a minute.
Gary?
Click on your dog.
I've lost Brian's computer. Sorry, Brian. I am trying to operate your computer and realise that I've not even asked for remote control. So sorry. So Brian's on his layer. Look, now look, see, Brian's made a mistake. On his layer panel, he's moved the layer on the actual image. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to Command Z. If you do Command Z, Brian, for me to reset it for me.
there
You
you
can
go.
move the mask and everything.
Now let me have a look then. See what's happening. Right.
I'll do undo move. There you go. So what we're going to do, we're going to drag this. I'm going to drag it up onto this one here and then drag it back and then let go. Can you see? So I'll let you do that, Brian, now. So grab anywhere on the picture of the dog and drag it to that top left tab. So drag to the top left tab. Keep going up, 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 keep going till you get on that tab. There, now bring it back down, come down again. And wherever you put your mouse, you'll put the dog. There you go.
You can
So
resize.
we now have a dog in position. And now we can put that dog, Brian, anywhere you like on that screen. You can put him, we're going to put him, we said we put him about here, didn't we? Oh, where are you going? I've got it, Brian, a second. There we go.
Make him bigger.
Well, is yours still in a square?
Are we going? Where are we putting him?
I'll put him just there for now. Don't make him bigger, just leave him there, and we'll talk about what we're going to do with it next.
Yeah. That's the right size.
It's about right.
Doesn't have to be perfect, just drop in there for now. We've got a lot more work to do, yeah. So tell me when you got to this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dog's very small. Yes, all right.
Yeah, you can resize it.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, Gary.
Now we're going to do a lot of different types of work here. So I want to keep the dog separate because I want to keep moving him about and then change him and bring him in and do what. So I want to put him somewhere safe. So at the bottom of your layers panel, the third one in, there is like a shape of a folder. Can you see that? And it's called group. So as long as you've got that layer selected, go down to that bottom corner, Brian, right to the bottom corner near the trash bin. And then next one across. Next one to the left, is it? Third one along from the right, click on that one. And it's called make a group. And we're going to call that, double click on the word group, and we're going to call it dog. Because I don't know the dog's name.
Oh, that doesn't work.
Let's call it dog.
Is it?
There's a third one
So
along.
tell me when you've all made yourself a new group.
Little folder.
Yeah, little folder. Tell me when you've all done it and name it dog.
Or if you want, the dog's name is Barney.
No.
What'll do?
Have you all done that? Have you all done that, Linda?
No, I haven't even done it. Yeah, I can't.
Oh, you
Can't-
naughty teacher.
It's
I can't get rid of me bloody icons at the bottom of the.
oh,
What you need is a bigger computer screen.
Yeah. I need a different brain. I can't get rid of me. Let me just try and get rid of these.
hmm.
Um,
I don't know what it's called. What is it called?
What's
Oh.
that?
I'm trying to get rid of my me icons at the bottom of the screen.
Then they're not going down.
The dog.
You mean the dock?
Yes.
Right. You've got, it's probably switched off auto select and auto hide. It's called the Genie. Do you want me to help you?
Yeah, if you would. I can't find it. Oh, hang on. Desktop and display. Automatically hide and show dock. Right, I've
That's
done
it. Okay, you've got it. Okay. So make yourself a new group.
The group's the third one in from the right, did you say?
Correct? Yeah. And then when it comes up, double click on it and call it dog.
When I go on it, Gary, I get
Yeah, she's got a funny thing
icon.
on the mouse.
Every time I go near it, I've got like
Make sure you're in the move tool and make sure you've got that a layer selected. If you haven't got a layer selected, it won't let you do anything. So you've got to have the move tool, so you can hit the V key and then make sure you've highlighted the dog layer. And then go down and try it.
And then it group should come up here some.
oh, there it is, new group.
Oh, you want the whole lot?
No,
Yeah.
just do new, just select that. Select
What?
new group.
What in the layers panel?
Yeah, new group at the bottom, third one in. You just said click on that and call it dog. So you got same as what Brian's got.
I can't see what phone.
Right.
You got it?
I hope so.
Okay. So have you got a new group called dog at the top?
It's not at the top. I've got it in the middle, so I've got
Okay,
me.
don't worry then. Don't worry. Drag it to the top.
Right.
So we're all doing the same thing together.
Yeah, done that.
Now then, Brian, what you're going to do, you make sure you're on the dog layer, Brian. That's the one with the little white mask to the right. And you're going to drag that onto that layer above it called dog. So click and drag and put it in that group. So drag it, click on it and drag up till it goes blue.
What would
I'll keep going up a bit more, Brian. A bit more. So that's it. Now let go. Okay, you've now put that inside there.
Put it into the group.
What you've done, you put the mask, sorry. Just do
Yeah.
Command Z. I've just realised what you've done. I was looking away at something.
Click on the
Command Z, Brian.
and drag it up
Right.
into dog,
Do
Keep
Command
going.
Z.
and it will.
Undo it, Brian. Command Z. That's it. We're going to drag the whole of that layer up
Yeah.
into there. So drag the whole layer like that. In fact, I've done it for you, look. There you go.
No,
You just
one.
drag the mask, Brian, not the whole lot. So has everybody got that? Now, if your little icon at the side of where it says dog, a little arrow pointing now, if you click on there, the dog will disappear. Is that correct? You try it, Brian. Little arrow at the side of the folder, pointing down, click on it,
No?
So go up to the layer, Brian, where it says dog. Keep going up.
Put both together.
I've lost Brian. 1 second, let me just get this.
It goes into the folder dog, but
See this bit here, Brian? Click on there, look. And it'll close it off. The dog will disappear.
look around, Brian.
So there you go. Should have everything what Brian's got. Is that correct, everybody?
No,
Oh, I don't. I can't bloody see it.
no, I don't know. Sorry.
Let's have a look then, Linda, what you've got.
Mine's not like that either.
Hang on a sec.
If Brian keeps it up, he'll be class teacher.
Yeah.
So let's get out of Lightroom. Let's get back into Photoshop.
See what it does with yours, and I can perhaps follow that.
Okay, now what you've done, you've dragged the mask into dog, not the dog. So do Command Z.
Again?
Come on,
Yeah,
Zed.
Command Z. You've dragged the dog onto the actual mask, the mask onto the actual.
Oh, I was following Brian, what he was doing.
Okay, come on then.
Linda.
What do you want me to do?
Let me request control and then I can help you. Do Command Z. And if you get stuck, I can help you.
Just keeps popping. It just keeps popping, Gary.
1 minute then, let's have a look, because I can't do a command key over the internet. It won't let me. Gosh, you have done an awful lot. You've clicked a lot, that's why. You've unlocked it, you've unlinked it, you've unlinked it again. Oh, another unlink.
I like to do things
Right,
properly.
there you go. So what you should have done is should have grabbed this one that's marked, not the mask.
Oh, I was following on the screen. And
And what you can drag now is we drag that onto that layer and it takes everything into that group. And now if I toggle this, you'll see it disappear. What you did, you put the mask on the whole group, and you can do that. You can put a mask on the whole group, and you copied the dog mask onto the whole group, which is not what you want. It works, but that's not what you want. Okay.
Right, so it's that one that's got to go on.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're going to hide that dog layer. I'll turn that marching ants off and drive you mad.
I've got mine showing. Why haven't you got yours showing and I have?
Let's have a look then what you've got.
God.
Yeah, my dog's still showing in the. Oh, not if I go down to that.
Yeah, but you're not, when you say hide the dog, Gary, you mean hide the dog layers, not the actual dog on the picture.
Right. See, what's happened is don't forget, when you're working in Photoshop, whatever layer you're working on, if you tell it to do something else, it will put it above it. Okay. Now here, in Margaret's situation, she was on the bottom layer, so she's put the dog layer in between it, which is fine. So she can drag that to the top if she wishes. So drag that to the top. We're going to move it anyway. Keep moving it. Yeah, click and drag up till the blue lines appear. Keep going one more. Let go.
Yeah.
Now you're going to drag that middle layer into the group called dog. So click on there, click,
That's
and
what
then
I
click. There you go. Now you put it above. You've gone above it. That's what you've done. You didn't put it in it. You put it above it. So till it goes blue all around. That's it. Now let go. That's it. You're in now. Look. Now you see that little triangle at the side of the word dog and that little symbol. There's an arrow pointing down. Click on that, and it will disappear.
Oh, how do you know that when
What you did, you put it above the group, not in the group.
yeah,
All
but
you did is you moved the layer above the dog group instead of into the dog group.
how do you know it's in there now?
Because if you click on that little triangle and it disappears, that's how you close the group down. So it's hidden now. So in that group, there is one image called dog, and that one in there. Okay.
So if there's no triangle pointing down, you haven't got it in.
Correct. So there at the moment, there's an arrow there saying that you've got a group. So if you click on that little arrow again and point it down, it'll show you what's in the group. There you go. There it is. Okay. Anybody else stuck?
We've still got we've still
Is
got
everybody stuck, or are we okay? Can we carry on? Yeah, you're all right. You okay, Teresa? Good, good. Okay, Brian.
5 minutes, Gary.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to show you. If we've got 5 minutes, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So I'm going to share my desktop. There's the image that we're working on. This is where we've got to. I've got to on my image. And I've actually put sun rays coming from the top left corner down onto the image. And I'm going to teach you how to put light spots and also sun rays coming down. And sun rays is brilliant. So I'll just show you on, in fact, I'll do another one very quickly. Let me put a Lightroom open. I'll open another image here and I'll just open it as a normal image. I'll do. It's not the right image, but it don't matter. Come on, open up. There we go. So what we're going to do next week, we're going to actually put light shafts in because we want to make it look quite interesting. So what we're going to do next week, because we've only got 5 minutes, we're going to do select color range, because what we're going to do, we're going to work on these colors in the top area. And I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to work what's called on highlights. So we'll teach you how to do that. And we're going to use a map. And then we're going to say, I'm going to just highlight. If I turn that down, it selects everything. And I want to work on the highlights on the top left-hand corner. And I'm going to say fuzziness just a little bit. Okay. Then what we're going to do, we're going to make it into a smart object. Just there like that. So we're going to, then we do Command and J. We're going to copy that. So I've got a new layer. Now what it's done on there, it's put all the highlights on. You probably can't see them, but they are there. All the highlights are on. Then what we're going to do is going to go up here. We're going to go to blur when it catches up. We're going to blur and we're going to put motion, radial blur on. But instead of radial, we're going to do zoom. And when you first open it up, it'll be something like that. But we're going to drag it to the top left corner where we believe the sun's coming from. There, like that. Now, you've got 3 different modes on here when we do this, because you can have good quality, not good quality, or very good. When you do good quality, it takes ages to come on. So if I go back up, if I'd have made that layer a smart object, I'd have gone back again. But I will show you how to do that as well. We'll do that next week. So I'm going to go to blur again. Whoops, sorry. Come on, internet, keep up with me. Radial blur, but we use zoom. If I choose best now and go OK, it takes a while for it to do it. So when we're trying it out, you use it in draft or good. And once you're happy with what you've got, you can actually then turn this off. Now, there's different ways to put shafts of light. I'm going to show you 2 methods. This one, using the natural light, and one painted lighting. You know, when we did the fairies, can you remember Franz Fairies?
Yeah.
If you're in there, I gave you a load of lights. So if you can find those, mine's on my other Drobo, which I can't power up at the moment. So if you can have a look in your archives for Franz Fairies actions I gave you, let me know if you've got it. If not, I'll have to try and locate my other drive and I'll pick those up and I'll give you some overlays you can put in, or I'll find some on the internet. And you can put shafts of light in unnaturally as well as natural. This is a natural method. And if you like this, once you've got this, we can copy that. And the more you copy it, the stronger the shafts of light come. Can you see?
All right, yeah.
So I'm getting more and more, so sunlight. And then what you can do then, we can add color to that. We can paint away. We use a blend mode. So the blend mode is on overlay or soft light. So you get a more natural look like that. And what we want to do also on this, we're going to paint a shaft of light onto the dog eventually as well. And you'll end up with something looking like that. I've taken some off on there actually, but I did it a little bit orange, too orange. But I'm trying to get this orange glow, but I didn't do it in Lightroom like we did the week before. I couldn't remember.
Harry?
Yes.
No, those documents. What called light overlays.
Yeah.
I've got it.
Have you got it? Can you do me a favor? Can you put me in WhatsApp group for us so we can share them again? Mine's on my Drobo server, and I've not fired that up since we've got here yet because I've not got a full network set up. So if you can put those overlays, actions into WhatsApp group, and we can share, we can all use those next week.
I don't know how to do it.
So okay, so share. Let me share your screen quickly then. Da, 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 da.
Desktop.
I think I've got them.
Light overlays, there they are. You've got some there. So what you want to do, you can actually drag, I believe, into WhatsApp. You got WhatsApp on your computer?
Yeah.
So open up WhatsApp. That's it. Just click on WhatsApp group. Click on there. Where's WhatsApp gone? Oh, it's opening now. Da, 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 da. There we go. Students, that's what we're looking for. So I'll move that out of the way a minute. And then what we do is you should, hopefully, you can actually put old folders in. And what it will do, if it's not too much, I'll move that out of the way, move that over here. You should be able to do, and what it will do, if it's a big file, it will say, let's have a look what it says. One file you tried cannot go in. Okay, so what you can do is we can put them in. Sometimes if it's a folder, it'll let you do a folder. There you go. And what it will do, if there's a lot, it'll do what, a zip file, just very quickly zip file them. You've got light overlay, you've got light trials. They're just dots, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've got them.
And you can put the sparkles across because we could probably do that on the dogs. We can put him some nice wings on as well.
Don't keep it simple.
He's going to fly. But the misty morning is good because I thought about overlaying that. So if you can, what you do, Margaret, all you do is just grab these and put them across. Usually it'll let you do a folder. Yeah, it won't let you do a folder at the moment. But normally you can put those in as a folder, and it usually comes up with, unless you've got a version before us, and what it would do, it would send them as a zip file, as a folder. And now in WhatsApp, you can do up to 2 GB files. Now, this is interesting. I don't know why you've come up with that message, because WhatsApp will let you do it. I'll have to check for your WhatsApp. You might want to update your WhatsApp because you can do 2 GB now files. But that's all you do, drag them and drop them across like that. You can put a message in, you can put in overlays. So come on, overlays. Here we go. And send it. So there they go. So all the overlays have gone.
I've got
There's the
them.
light ones you can add.
Yeah, there was a light rays coming down.
There you go. Margaret sent hundreds of photographs. But it's good with the, there's the light ones. Yeah. You got loads of them. So they can download these now, or you can, what you could do, you could use WeTransfer and drag the folders, Margaret. Just grab that old folder from Gary. So you got WhatsApp, you know how to use WhatsApp, don't you? Not WhatsApp, WeTransfer.
I've put all sorts in here that are my own.
Okay, well, you don't send what you don't want, obviously. Yeah. But you can do that, send them to them that way. Any you don't want, just take off. So that's how you can do it. But yeah, in WhatsApp, now you can do up to 2 GB. But you may need to just check whether you've got an up-to-date version of WhatsApp, because the new one will let you do massive amounts. So any you don't want, we can just take off. Okay, so next week, we'll do some more. Thank you, Brian, for running the class today. exceptionally good. And we'll catch up next week. But I say, if anybody else got a project, you got a wedding shop, Teresa, or something you like, or a nature shop, you went to see the parrots, I don't know, anything you've got a particular image you'd like to have a go at, or composite image, like multiple images, put birds in a tree, whatever you want to do. But it does highlight when you do your own images using Photoshop and Lightroom that you will see problems like the top of the dog's head. So next week we'll do some more light. We'll put some light rays on and we'll add the dog to the picture, and then we'll start to colour it and put some textures on. It'll look lovely. It'll look like a card. And then Ron can sell this to Hallmark to send to other people.
I think at the moment the dog looks as if we've just plonked him there. And
it will do, exactly. We've got to work on the dog, yeah. The dog's got to be blended in. We'll do that later on. Once we've got the image where we want it all to a point, we can add the dog.
Yeah.
But it gives you an idea of what's going to look like.
Yeah. Okay.
You build it up bit by bit.
All right.
Sorry, are we just saving it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can save it. Just click save as. It'll go back into Lightroom, won't it?